Speaking of The Shield, I caught the Shield documentary on the WWE Network, which is up on demand if you missed it. I think it's worth the 55 minutes or so to sit down and watch. William Regal is on there. He's interviewed Gabe Sapolsky, Les Thatcher, who talked about training Dean Ambrose back in the Heartland Wrestling Association days, which was one of the WWE developmental territories at the time. Terry Taylor is interviewed. They told the story of he and Seth Rollins butting heads in developmental because Rollins had the attitude that he was better than everybody else there, which he probably was. And he was frustrated that he wasn't getting called up, to the point where Taylor threw his hands up in the air and just told Triple H, look, you got to talk to this guy. Either you talk to him and smooth this over and let him know the way things are, or you got to get rid of him. And Triple H is on there talking about how he and Rollins had a coming to Jesus session where he told him in no uncertain terms, you need to be patient or your ass is out of here. Gabe was on there talking about booking Rollins back when he was Tyler Black in ROH to be the top star in the promotion, but others there did not share that same view, and Sapolsky got fired as the head booker by Kerry Silkin, who he didn't mention by name. He only mentioned him as the owner, basically implying that the owner and other people in ROH didn't know what the fuck they were doing. That's basically what he said. And Tyler Black, in fact, did not end up getting that top spot. He did win the belt, but he was never really on top for that long as the top guy in Ring of Honor. I take it he would have been had Gabe not been removed. Just to hear about all of this being talked about on a WWE documentary was just surreal. I mean, they even went into Ambrose's background from his CZW days. They had CZW footage on the WWE Network. And they had really grainy quality footage that they credited to WWNlive.com of Ambrose on the Indies. I just thought this whole thing was great. They went into Roman Reigns' background, too, with footage of him playing football and getting drafted but not really making it, so he went to Canada to play. And at that point, he came to a crossroads in his life where he had to make a decision about what he was going to do. You know, am I going to just keep doing this and hope that one day I'm good enough to get back into the NFL? Or is it time that I go do something else? You know, he has a young daughter, and he had to just make a decision. Son of Sika, of the Wild Samoans, wrestling was in his blood, it's in his family tree, and with that daughter to support, he made the decision to pursue wrestling. You know, and I think if they're at all worried about fans eventually turning on Roman Reigns, what they need to do is air this on TV. Not the whole documentary, but air the Roman Reigns portion as part of like a promo package or a vignette on television, because there's no way you could boo this man after seeing this. The whole thing ends with footage of their SummerSlam matches and then some post-match interviews backstage with each guy. It fades out with Dean Ambrose on there saying, the goal from day one of the Shield was to take over the business. So whether we're friends or whether we're enemies, we're going to own the business. And then it ends. If so, the future is in good hands. This is exactly the sort of thing they should be doing more of with this network. It was shot like a special you would see on ESPN or HBO before a big fight. There's no reason they can't be doing monthly specials like this on different guys and, you know, time it to coincide, let's say, with that month's pay-per-view event. The one knock on this I do have is that it did a great job of building up these guys' SummerSlam matches, but it didn't air until after SummerSlam. Like, there's a point in here where they're each talking about their matches, and they show them training in the gym and preparing for it, and like, it's a day after SummerSlam. So I thought the timing was kind of messed up. They should have aired this at least a few days earlier, because it may have even gotten some people who were on the fence about ordering SummerSlam to subscribe to the network to first see the documentary and then stick around to watch SummerSlam. I mean, if you're already a network subscriber, then you're already in. You know, you're airing the documentary on the network. I mean, in a perfect world, this would have aired on USA, but that's not going to happen. So I just thought the timing was a little odd. But there's so many guys on that roster that we know very little about when it comes to their background and what they went through to get to where they are, what their daily routine is like. They're just a bunch of faces they throw out there for 3 minutes every Monday night. More profile pieces like this, I think, would go a long way to getting people to actually care about guys that most people don't have any real connection to right now. I mean, how many people on the current roster do you honestly feel you have some kind of emotional connection to, meaning you actually give a shit what they do? You actually give a shit if they win or lose. How many people? A lot of you guys don't even watch the shows anymore. You just keep in touch with it through this podcast. That's a problem. So I think stuff like this, if they do it a little more often, could be a real big help.